Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings. Today, we're so excited to have you again. The presidency has finally responded to Peter Obi after he had a world press conference. He spoke about a lot of things, but for me, what you're going to hear right now is quite shocking and it's amazing. For me, it's just a way of amassing English. But first of all, let me give you full details of it. The presidency, in a release by Bayo Onanuga, special advisor to the president on information and strategy on Monday, said Obi was free to take another shot at Nigerian presidency in 2027 and focus on issues and not religious or ethnic sentiment. The Bola Tinubu presidency has scolded the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, for rejecting the Supreme Court verdict, saying he, Obi, and his lawyers failed to provide evidence in court. The presidency, in a release by Bayo Onanuga, special advisor to the president on information and strategy on Monday, said Obi was free to take another shot at the Nigerian presidency in 2027 and focus on issues and not religion or religious or ethnic sentiment. It was earlier reported that Obi, during his World Press Conference in reaction to the Supreme Court judgment, said that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) displaying competence in the conduct of the 2023 elections, but the Apex Court willfully condoned the electoral body incompetence and violation of law. The former governor of Anambra State had said the Supreme Court judgment amounted to a breach of confidence Nigerians had in judiciary and that it is a show of unreasonable force against the Nigerian people from whom the power of the constitution derives. Reacting, the presidency, in a statement titled Peter Obi should find a better vocation instead of casting aspersion on the judiciary, said, "We are at a loss as to how the copycat Obi and his faction of Labour Party convinced themselves they won an election in which they came at the stand third. The grand delusion that made Obi believe he could have won a national election where he ran the most hateful, divisive, and polarizing campaign that pitched Christian against Muslim and one ethnic group against the other in a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society like Nigeria should be a matter for deeper examination. At the press conference where he tried in vain to gaslight Nigerians with false claims and innuendos, Obi contradicted himself. Here was a beneficiary of judiciary or judicial pronouncement in the past, now castigating the same court because the judgment did not go his way. Obi claimed the Supreme Court justices didn't consider public opinion in delivering what has been applauded as the most profound judgment in an election appeal where the Labour Party candidate presented the most watery and unreasonable petition before any court in the history of electoral cases in Nigeria. He made false allegation of rigging and other electoral malpractices, yet could not produce any evidence to back up his claim at both the court of first instance and at the apex court. In a failed effort to mobilize and retain the support of his supporters, Obi gave them a forlorn hope that he won the election and would prove it before the court. Throughout the trial, his lawyers didn't present any alternative results different from the result INEC uploaded on the iReporter and the one signed by all party agencies from the 176,000 polling unit. We wonder how the Labour Party candidate expect the court to do justice on the basis of rumor, lies, and false narrative by sponsored partisan and fanatical members of his obedient movement. We expect the Labour Party candidate to know that the Supreme Court or any other court does not give judgment based on public opinion and mob sentiment. Judicial pronouncements are based on evidence, precedent, and the rule of law. Having admitted that the Supreme Court ruling brought an end to litigation and any challenge to the bona fide of President Bola Tinubu as the validly elected leader of Nigeria and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, Obi should have congratulated President Tinubu for his victory and pledged his support in the spirit of statesmanship. But instead, he brought up extraneous matters thought the appeals court should have considered to declare him the winner. In our view, the drowning Obi, just like Atiku, was merely attempting to hold on to a straw in raking up new allegations which exist only in his imagination and that of his hordes of supporters. Our admonition to Mr. Peter Obi is to find another worthwhile vocation to engage his time henceforth, having been rejected by a majority of Nigerians who didn't consider him qualified to lead our country. Nigerians rejected Peter Obi and his demagoguery or at the poll because he posed present and future danger to the peace, progress, and stability of the country. Obi's antecedent as governor of Anambra State for 8 years didn't inspire any confidence that someone capable of running a country like Nigeria, no tangible record of achievement in the state he governed, recommended him for the presidency of Nigeria. If Peter Obi truly believes in Nigeria, the time to prove it is now, when all men and women of goodwill are rallying support for President Tinubu in his determination to lead a new era of prosperity, inclusive government and economic growth in Nigeria. Finally, we welcome Obi and his party to play the role of the opposition and start preparing for another shot at the presidency in 2027. We have hope by then he will campaign on issues and not whip up religious and ethnic sentiment as he did in the last campaign. Now, if you listen to all of this, you will notice something very significant. It lacks credibility. It lacks everything. Now, how can you in your whole life make such a statement? And I'll quote it. He said, Nigerians rejected Peter Obi and his demagoguery at the polls because he posed present and future danger to the peace, progress, and stability of the country. Imagine that. Imagine if Obi truly pose danger or poses present and future danger to the peace. What would he have called for? Would he say that revolution should be postponed? How would you make such statement? I mean, one of the things that most of our writers and those who call themselves presidential aides must realize, painting a statement is not all about speaking English. In other words, what I mean there is you don't go around trying to paint statement or use bogus English so that you impress anybody, because we have gone past that level. It's to communicate facts. Is to communicate intelligence, something that even in the next 20 years, or even when you're old and stricken in age, when you look back at the things that you have written, you'll be impressed that at least I wrote something very factual. Look at how I coined this one out. How can you say that Peter Obi Abba will pose a threat to the peace and progress? A man who throughout his campaign was saying one thing: enough of consumption, let's go back to production. A man who has a track record of saving money, depriving himself, ensuring that he doesn't take anything from the government. Instead, he will do everything to give to the government. A man who is an expert in cutting of costs, especially cost of governance. That is a man who encourages people to invest. He restored peace to Anambra State. That's the same man that you see that if he had won, that it will pose a danger to the peace, stability, and progress of Nigeria. Bros, do you even know anything? Look at a man that if you check him out from inception till now, he has no iota of bad record. He is a billionaire. He's not somebody who's searching for money. He's a billionaire. That's the same man. You can open your mouth and write all this nonsense. I mean, what would you expect? He's been paid to do that. So we'll leave it there. And let's see what Dati is going to tell them. Because I know that one does not play with words. He hits it on the head. He's a lion. When he sees his prey, he goes for it. So we're going to hear him very soon. That's